Marriage is often described as a union of two individuals, yet at its core, it is a deeply emotional bond that is shaped by both conscious choice and unconscious psychological forces. Emotional attachment, rooted in early experiences and attachment styles, plays a significant role in how partners interact, communicate, and respond to one another. Individuals who experience secure attachments in childhood often enter marriage with a sense of trust and openness, enabling them to navigate challenges more effectively. Conversely, those with anxious or avoidant attachment styles may struggle with intimacy, often requiring greater self-awareness and intentional effort to build lasting emotional connections. Emotional intelligence becomes crucial within the marital context, as partners must constantly navigate each other's feelings, moods, and unspoken needs while balancing their own. The ability to recognize, interpret, and respond empathetically to a partner's emotional signals directly influences marital satisfaction and the stability of the relationship. Over time, the emotional foundation of marriage shapes not only the daily interactions between partners but also their capacity for long-term resilience and mutual growth. Emotional intimacy extends beyond affection or physical closeness. It encompasses understanding, validation, and a sense of shared emotional life that fosters a deep, enduring connection. Emotional attunement is especially important during periods of conflict, as it allows partners to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, reducing the likelihood of resentment and emotional withdrawal. Couples who cultivate a robust emotional foundation often report higher levels of satisfaction, deeper trust, and a stronger sense of partnership, demonstrating that marriage is as much an emotional endeavor as it is a social or legal one. The ongoing effort to maintain and nurture emotional closeness requires mindfulness, patience, and a willingness to evolve alongside one's partner. The role of empathy in marriage cannot be overstated, as it forms the bedrock of understanding and compassionate response to a partner's experiences. Empathy involves not only recognizing what a partner is feeling but also responding in a manner that conveys validation and support. Without empathy, communication often breaks down, leaving misunderstandings and unspoken grievances to fester over time. Emotional reciprocity, the exchange of care and attention between partners, is critical for sustaining intimacy and satisfaction. Couples who prioritize empathy are better equipped to navigate disagreements without escalating into destructive patterns, as each partner feels heard and valued rather than dismissed. The capacity to empathize also influences problem-solving within marriage, as decisions are made with consideration of both individual and shared needs. Emotional attunement encourages partners to anticipate each other's vulnerabilities and respond proactively, creating a cycle of trust and mutual care. Importantly, empathy in marriage is not innate for everyone. It can be cultivated through practice, reflection, and sometimes therapy, highlighting the malleable nature of emotional intelligence. Over time, consistent empathetic engagement fosters a secure emotional climate where both partners feel safe to express themselves authentically. This security, in turn, enhances intimacy, strengthens attachment, and encourages cooperative conflict resolution, which are all hallmarks of a psychologically healthy marriage. A marriage anchored in emotional awareness becomes a space where both individuals can grow, heal, and explore life's challenges together, creating a partnership that transcends superficial compatibility. Beyond empathy, emotional regulation is a critical psychological component of marriage, as the ability to manage one's own emotions directly affects the quality of interactions between partners. Marriage inevitably involves stress, conflict, and emotional turbulence, and partners must navigate these challenges without letting negative emotions dominate communication or behavior. Emotional dysregulation can manifest as frequent arguments, withdrawal, or passive-aggressive behaviors, eroding trust and intimacy over time. Conversely, couples who develop effective emotional regulation skills are more capable of responding thoughtfully during disputes, maintaining perspective, and prioritizing long-term relational goals over short-term reactions. Mindfulness practices, reflective communication, and stress management strategies all contribute to better emotional regulation within marriage. Emotional regulation also enhances empathy, as individuals who can manage their own emotional responses are better equipped to understand and respond to their partner's experiences without defensiveness or resentment. The dynamic interplay between emotional intelligence, empathy, and regulation underscores the complexity of psychological processes in sustaining marital health. Couples who cultivate these emotional competencies tend to experience more constructive communication, deeper intimacy, and a stronger sense of shared purpose. Ultimately, the emotional foundations of marriage are not static. They evolve as partners encounter life transitions, personal growth, and shared experiences, demanding ongoing attention, reflection, and adaptive effort to maintain a thriving relationship. The psychology behind this emotional foundation illustrates that marriage is less about perfection and more about resilience, understanding, and continuous mutual investment. Marriage is also profoundly influenced by cognitive and behavioral patterns, which shape how partners perceive each other, interpret interactions, and respond to challenges. Cognitive biases such as selective attention or attribution errors can distort perceptions of a partner's intentions, leading to misunderstandings and conflict. For example, interpreting a neutral action as a personal slight can trigger defensive behaviors that escalate tensions unnecessarily. Positive cognitive framing, however, allows partners to interpret actions and intentions in a more constructive manner, fostering patience, forgiveness, and collaboration. Behavioral patterns, often learned in childhood or previous relationships, play an equally significant role, as habitual ways of communicating, problem-solving, and expressing affection can either strengthen or undermine marital satisfaction. Consistent behaviors that demonstrate care, reliability, and respect reinforce trust and create a predictable, safe relational environment. Conversely, maladaptive behaviors such as criticism, contempt, or stonewalling can erode intimacy and increase relational distress over time. The interplay between cognition and behavior highlights that marriage is both a mental and practical endeavor. Understanding thought patterns and deliberately shaping behaviors are key to maintaining harmony and fostering growth within the partnership. Couples who actively engage in self-reflection, cognitive restructuring, and behavioral adjustment often navigate conflict more successfully and experience higher levels of satisfaction and emotional closeness. This dual focus on cognition and behavior underscores that marriage is not solely a product of love or attraction but also a complex system of learned patterns and conscious choices. Couples who recognize and modify unhelpful cognitive and behavioral tendencies are better equipped to cultivate enduring satisfaction, resilience, and mutual respect. Expectations within marriage are a critical cognitive factor that profoundly influences satisfaction and stability. Unrealistic expectations, often shaped by cultural narratives, media portrayals, or personal fantasies, can create disappointment and conflict when reality does not align with idealized visions of partnership. In contrast, realistic expectations allow partners to appreciate each other's strengths and limitations, fostering gratitude and reducing chronic frustration. Cognitive clarity about expectations also aids communication, as partners can articulate needs and negotiate compromises with less ambiguity. Behavioral responses are deeply intertwined with expectations. When unmet expectations trigger negative behaviors such as withdrawal, criticism, or passive aggression, they can create cycles of conflict that are difficult to break. Proactive behaviors, including expressing appreciation, providing support, and practicing active listening, counteract these negative cycles and reinforce positive relational dynamics. The alignment of expectations, cognition, and behavior is crucial for sustaining satisfaction, as it promotes mutual understanding, realistic goal setting, and cooperative problem solving. Marriage thrives when partners recognize the gap between idealized and realistic perceptions, adjusting their cognitive frameworks and behaviors to support shared growth and well-being. Couples who successfully navigate expectation management report higher levels of intimacy, trust, and overall psychological resilience. This demonstrates that marriage is as much a cognitive and behavioral partnership as it is an emotional and romantic one. Communication is another central behavioral component that profoundly shapes marital dynamics. Effective communication goes beyond verbal exchanges. It encompasses nonverbal cues, timing, tone, and the capacity for active listening. Miscommunication, often arising from cognitive distortions or emotional reactivity, can escalate minor disagreements into major conflicts. Conversely, clear, respectful, and empathetic communication reinforces understanding, intimacy, and shared problem-solving. Behavioral strategies such as I statements, reflective listening, and scheduled check-ins facilitate constructive dialogue, helping partners navigate disagreements without resorting to destructive patterns. Communication also serves as a mechanism for expressing affection, reassurance, and appreciation, which are essential for sustaining emotional connection over time. Couples who invest in improving their communication skills often experience lower levels of relational stress, higher satisfaction, and greater alignment in goals and values. Behavioral interventions such as couples therapy or structured communication exercises provide practical tools for breaking negative cycles and enhancing relational competence. The consistent practice of positive communication behaviors can reshape cognitive perceptions, reinforcing trust, empathy, and emotional security. Ultimately, Marriage is a dynamic system in which cognition, behavior, and communication continuously interact, influencing relational satisfaction, resilience, and long-term stability. Marriage does not exist in isolation. It is deeply influenced by societal norms, cultural expectations, and developmental trajectories across the lifespan. Social and cultural frameworks dictate perceptions of marriage, roles, and responsibilities, shaping how individuals approach commitment and partnership. Gender expectations, economic pressures, and religious or familial values all contribute to the lens through which individuals view marriage, often affecting communication styles, conflict resolution strategies, and long-term satisfaction. Societal influences can reinforce positive relational behaviors such as cooperation, shared responsibility, and mutual respect, or impose stressors through rigid expectations and unrealistic ideals. Awareness of these societal pressures allows couples to navigate external influences consciously, making intentional choices rather than reacting to normative pressures. Developmentally, marriage intersects with personal growth, identity formation, and life transitions, highlighting that marital satisfaction is dynamic rather than static. Partners evolve over time, and the ability to adapt to changing needs, goals, and circumstances is critical for maintaining a thriving marriage. Societal and developmental perspectives emphasize that marriage is not solely a private affair but a relational system embedded within broader social and temporal contexts. Understanding these influences helps couples cultivate resilience, adaptability, and a shared vision that aligns with both personal and cultural realities. Life transitions such as parenthood, career shifts, aging, and health changes profoundly impact marital dynamics, challenging emotional, cognitive, and behavioral systems. These transitions can amplify pre-existing strengths and vulnerabilities, highlighting the importance of mutual support, communication, and flexible problem-solving. Couples who navigate transitions successfully often demonstrate resilience, adaptability, and a commitment to growth that reinforces marital satisfaction. Social support networks, including family, friends, and community resources, play a critical role in buffering stress and providing guidance during transitional periods. Conversely, social isolation or unsupportive networks can exacerbate conflict and increase relational strain. Developmental psychology emphasizes that marriage is a continuously evolving partnership, requiring ongoing negotiation, adjustment, and shared coping strategies to accommodate life's inevitable changes. Societal attitudes toward marriage, including expectations of longevity, fidelity, and role division, intersect with these developmental challenges, creating a complex web of pressures and opportunities for growth. Couples who are attuned to both societal norms and developmental trajectories can make informed choices that enhance relational satisfaction, resilience, and long-term fulfillment. Understanding these external and temporal influences situates marriage within a broader psychological and socio-cultural context, highlighting that successful partnerships require both internal competence and environmental awareness. Society also shapes marriage through models of conflict resolution, intimacy, and relational roles, which influence individual expectations and behavior. Cultural narratives about romance, communication, and partnership can create implicit benchmarks for success, often leading to comparison, dissatisfaction, or pressure to conform. However, awareness of these influences allows couples to critically evaluate which societal norms align with their values and which may be maladaptive or restrictive. Cross-cultural research demonstrates that marital satisfaction is influenced not only by individual compatibility but also by alignment with broader cultural expectations and support systems. Couples who cultivate shared meaning, deliberate role negotiation, and adaptive strategies are better equipped to thrive within both personal and societal frameworks. Societal and developmental perspectives together underscore that marriage is a multifaceted psychological phenomenon, shaped by the interplay of individual, relational, and contextual factors over time. Understanding this complexity enables couples to approach marriage with both empathy and strategic insight, fostering a partnership that is emotionally rich, cognitively coherent, and socially attuned. The psychology behind marriage is thus a holistic interplay of emotion, cognition, behavior, and societal context, reflecting the intricate web of forces that sustain or challenge human connection.